Welcome to the Solopreneur CEO podcast. I'm Karen Kilby-Clark, and along with my co-host, Marsha Sheehan, we help solopreneurs lead with clarity and build businesses that grow without burnout. This show is for solopreneurs who've built something real, but are carrying more of the load than they want to be. Your business works, but it depends too heavily on you. And deep down, you know it shouldn't feel this hard. Here, we talk about the mindset, systems, structure, and support it actually takes to run a business without sacrificing your well-being. We're not about hustle culture or pushing harder just to survive. This podcast is about stepping out of reactive solopreneur mode and into CEO-level leadership so your business can support your life instead of consuming it. If you're ready for honest conversations, real-world strategies, and a lot less pretending, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
I can't believe we're already at the end of season 1. When we started this podcast, I don't think either of us fully knew what it was going to become. We knew we wanted to have honest conversations, and we also wanted to create something for solopreneurs who were tired of hustle culture and constantly feeling like they were failing from some invisible business test. But I don't think we realized how many themes were going to keep coming up over and over in this first season of the Solopreneur CEO. And I was thinking about that a lot as we were preparing for this finale, because even though we talked about a lot of different things like burnout, alignment, leadership, time, community, it all kept circling back to solopreneurs trying to build sustainable businesses while operating from survival mode. And when you're in survival mode long enough, it starts to feel normal.
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've noticed too is how many people are carrying way more than they realize, like trying to build their business by themselves. They are the solo person, and it's not just physical, it's mental, emotional, energetic. There's just like this invisible load that comes with solopreneurship that we never thought was talked about enough. So that's why we started this podcast, because we're like, we are going to actually talk about it. And from the outside, for a lot of the solopreneurs that we know are listening, from the outside can look like things are working. Your clients are coming in, the content's going out, revenue is happening. But underneath that, the effort it takes to make that happen is exhausting. Like you're literally exhausted. So you start to go through a lot of things, all the emotions that come along with being burnt out. And you feel like maybe it's me, maybe I'm not cut out for this, maybe I'm not capable of building a business that's sustainable. But it's not that. It's just that you've built a business that depends too heavily on you being on all the time. And so I think that's why so many of our conversations this season kept coming back to things like systems and visibility and boundaries and alignment and CEO leadership, because at a certain point, working harder stops being the answer. You cannot sustainably outwork structure problems forever. And so eventually you get that pushback with your energy, capacity, health, relationships, motivation. It's like you just plop down on the bed and say, this isn't working anymore. And so I think a lot of people listening are somewhere in that realization right now.
Yeah, for sure. One of the things that really stood out to me this season was how deeply people resonated with the conversations around time, and not productivity in the internet marketing sense, but the emotional experience of time. So feeling behind, or like they're constantly being reactive, and feeling like your business takes up more space in your brain than you want it to. It's the tornado of doom, the constant loops, it being Friday night and you're not even close to being done working. I think a lot of solopreneurs blame themselves for that. Like, if I were better at this, I'd be on top of everything. But one thing we kept uncovering is that a lot of these issues aren't personal failures. They are structural, as you said. If everything in your business depends on you, of course you're going to feel pressure. If you don't have any systems, everything is going to feel chaotic. If you're constantly task and role switching all day long, you're going to feel mentally exhausted when you throw yourself on the bed at night. It'd be a lot cooler if someone else was throwing you on the bed. Anyway, I think that these realizations can be confronting and relieving because you can't fix something that you don't actually see, right? So like you see the issues, you see the problems that keep repeating, and then once you do see them, you can't unsee them. When you realize this isn't going to magically fix itself, that's a good thing. So I think it's a really important distinction to realize that even if your business feels like it's broken or your brain feels like it's broken because business is hard, it's not that. It's the structural issues.
Completely. Yeah. And I think this is where like the whole solopreneur CEO concept really became clearer for us this season, right? When we rebranded and we relaunched and we're like, okay, solopreneur CEO, we knew what it meant. I mean, we knew what we thought it meant, right? But as the season went on, it really became clear to us because being a CEO is not like, we're not saying you need to pretend like you have some giant company, right? We're not saying you have to learn a whole bunch of corporate jargon now because you're a CEO. So you got to say things like, let's circle back. Um, but it really is about how you think and how you're making decisions in your business, how you're structuring your business. One of the biggest shifts that we kept coming back to was moving from reactive operator mode into that intentional leadership space where you're not reacting, you're designing, you're architecting, you are deciding, and you're not trying to carry everything yourself. You are building the support and the structure that you need so that you are no longer in survival mode and you can actually see a path to sustainably building your business and having the life that you want. What can be tricky is that solopreneurs so often don't realize how deep into operator mode they are because it's so normalized. Like the hustle harder, the work on your business from, if you have a 9 to 5, then do your business from 5 to 9, all the craziness is especially online because now we have access to the whole world. There's not just your, neighborhood that you're exposed to. It's everyone, everywhere. And the internet appears to reward hustle. Like seeing people be in hustle mode and doing the most is like, yay! All that constant output, constant availability, and like the push to grow, 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 it's just not the reality. It's not the goal for a lot of people. I loved when in the episode, I guess it would have been 2 episodes ago now, the interview that Marsha had with Tara, talking about they should be your goals. They should be the goals you want them to be, not what the internet told you that they should be, right? And so, yeah, when you consume enough of that messaging, you just think that, okay, I'm supposed to be exhausted. That's proof that I'm doing it right. And it's actually the opposite, right? That's really a dangerous idea because we don't want burnout to be the business model. That's the opposite of what we're trying to achieve as a solo CEO.
Yeah, because when you burn out in business, like people talk about that and it's not a badge of honor. I think the people who actually speak about this freely and openly, like it's there's a little bit of shame around that. Like, how did I not see this coming? And when you burn out in your business or your 9 to 5 or your work or whatever, it doesn't just affect your business. And that is something that came up a lot during the season too, is that we are whole people running this business. So there is that intersection of your business with your life. And so many people have just the past couple of weeks, like what I've learned about people in my life, like what they have going on with, parents and kids and siblings and travel. And I don't know, like it's not all sunshine and puppies and rainbows. And that's why I think that that it's important to understand that if you're not building your business in a sustainable way, then it does become inevitable, right? That burnout is going to happen to you. And so I just want people, like, that's the conversations that I always have, is like, oh, I just reshared this from like 2020. Remember Jennifer Crawford put on like the Small Business Grit Summit, and it was like, your business should feed you, not bleed you. And that goes with everything. Thank you. Karen's like, I love that, but she's muted. Um, but like, I think that's every aspect of your life, right? Like your faith, your relationships, your partnerships, your business, your diet, your fitness, like everything. It should feed you. Like, we should not be living in like deprivation and in constant chaos. Like, it's just not good. It's not good. Take it from your friend with the autoimmune disease that came from stress, most likely, you know. Um, but yeah, like, it's not good for us. So your real life affects your business, your capacity affects your business, and your nervous system and environment affect your business. And all of those things affect every aspect of your life. So one of the healthiest things that we can do as solopreneurs is, like, when we're stepping into that CEO role, or we're changing from operator, it's like just knowing that it's us. Like, we're not robots, we're not AI. Like, we're living, breathing human beings who need to build a business that can support our full lives.
Yeah. And honestly, that's a huge part of why community became a bigger part of the conversation for us this season, too, because solopreneurship can be so incredibly isolating. You're making all those decisions alone, carrying the stress, overthinking things, all in your cave, in your hideaway. And when you stay isolated long enough, your perspective starts shrinking. You kind of only see things from this one point of view, and everything feels heavier and bigger and more catastrophic. I talked a lot about this in the last episode. So when we were thinking about how we wanted to support solopreneurs with this podcast and our membership and all the things that we do, we really focused on the fact that you don't need more information. Like, we're not here to just, throw information at you, because you have more information than you can ever realistically implement. I mean, let's be real, especially with the internet was enough. And now with AI, and I mean, information is at the little tippity tip of our fingers, or I mean, or your chat. I like to talk to AI and stuff. Like, I just say stuff now. I don't know. I don't like to talk. I don't like to type. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that. Maybe it's part of the perimenopausal transition, but I'm just like, my carpal tunnel is not interested in typing a lot. So anyway, that's a side note. But yeah, so you have more information than you can ever realistically implement. So it's really about the perspective and the support, the conversation, helping you calibrate and decide. Decide. Deciding is so important. And we really wanted to have a space where healthier ways of building a business were normal. And so that's a lot of what we've tried to create with Solopreneur CEO, is that environment that can help shape what feels possible, normal, successful. And one of the most powerful things about being around other thoughtful solopreneurs who are trying to build differently is how much it changes your standards. Like, what you will accept and what you are like, this is how it should be. This is the standard. It's just amazing to see that happen.
Yeah, and I think being in community with other people too, like, whenever we are treating ourselves like we are these task machines, it helps to see the human side of these other entrepreneurs, and to realize that we're not alone in all of the things. Like, there's times where I struggle with visibility or boundaries, or, come on, delegation. Like seriously, Karen, how often have I been saying I'm gonna hire a virtual assistant? I got really close anyway. Um, but it's like it so much about being an entrepreneur is emotional, and when you're in community with other people, it 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 what's the word? Not actualizes it. It's just a great equalizer when you're in a group with other people, other peers, because it helps you to realize that the problems that you're navigating, they have them as well. They might, have like a different costume on, but they're still there. So yeah, I am so glad that we started the free community as well, because these conversations matter, and yeah, I'm here for it.
I'm so here for it. Yes. And I think that's exactly what we want to keep exploring in season 2. We really want to go deeper into that CEO leadership and systems and what does it mean to have sustainable growth? You hear that a lot, sustainable, and so we want to really dive into that more and talk more about the identity shifts that happen, like how the identity needs to grow with you and evolve with you so that you can continue to reach your goals. And we'll talk more about the emotional realities of entrepreneurship. And then, we'll probably have some mechanics in there too, some tactical. We might mix in some more tactical episodes about building a business that doesn't consume your entire life and bring in more real conversations around the realities of implementation, because having the ideas, solopreneurs are so good at having the ideas, and then what does it really look like to be implementing on those ideas, but in a way that doesn't distract from your overall vision and goals. So lots of stuff on the way in season 2 that we're really excited about. And I think season 1 really laid the foundation, for us to continue, because you don't become a different person overnight. We talking about making that shift from being in operator mode to being in that solo CEO mode. That takes time, and it takes constant, like, tune up. Like, I mean, we're like a car that needs our oil change every 5,000 miles or whatever. Like, it's not going to be a one and done. And so we're just excited to keep the conversation going and, really dig in more into the integration of your identity and the intentionality around growing your business.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up about the stickiness with identity shifts, because it's so true. And like there's this woman that I started following, and she talks about the caterpillar goo. Like where like it's you've seen it, right? Like you learned about it in biology, but it's like that it literally like melts into itself, and it's like really disgusting, like a sci-fi movie type of situation. But that it's so true, because like I have been up leveling my life. My husband has been paying attention to it. Maybe too much. I've just been doing things differently. I've been taking more care of my personal appearance and showing up differently, and I just ordered new business cards. And before I go to things and before I engage with people, I just want to show up in a specific way, and that does create some friction. Like there's friction there, so it doesn't happen overnight. This is 6 months of episodes that we've been sharing with you since we relaunched with this specific focus on solopreneur CEOs. We wanted to thank you for listening, for chiming in, for sharing episodes. Like we love the social media love, for joining the community and attending the summit. And we are going to continue showing up, and we want you all to participate too. Like if you're feeling isolated or like you're in a silo, meet us in the free community. If you're feeling something, I guarantee you one of the probably 30, 40 people that we have in there is probably feeling it as well. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for trusting us to share value with you. And what else, Karen?
Yeah, I'll just double down on that. We really are so glad that you're here. And like Marcia said, even though this is the end of season one, the conversations are not stopping. We'll be in the community. Our society is still active. So you can still apply to join that if you want to have deeper conversations with us and get mentorship. And we'll be connecting throughout the summer on social in our community, and we'll be back in August for season two. If you've been listening quietly in the background, this is your invitation to really just come join us. I think that would be, if anything, I want to leave you with is the free community is a space that we really are trying to cultivate and have the right people in that room and have juicy conversations and be able to support each other. So, thanks for spending this season with us. You can find us at thesolopreneurceo.com for that community so that we can stay in touch. And we will see you in season two.
Thanks so much for spending time with us today. If this episode made you feel seen or helped something click, join our free community at thesolopreneurceo.com. This is a space to connect with other solopreneurs who are building sustainable businesses and don't want to do it alone. And if you found this conversation helpful, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and reminds them they're not the only ones feeling this way. We're really glad you're here, and we'll see you in the next episode.